Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be adding a video into my series of drawing things I'm bad at. Today I will be drawing hands, so let's get into the video. Hands has been something I've struggled with for a long time, and I have in the past sat down and done studies of my hand. Like, which other hand would you do? It doesn't seem like there's much point in actually looking up references since you have one right in front of you whenever you're drawing. But I've done studies before, and every time I've done a study on them, I always forget everything I learned when I'm doing illustrations. Partly because when I'm doing general illustrations, the hands are quite small and then complicated positions. While when I'm doing studies in the past, I've always just done them kind of straight on and rather easy positions to do. So my goal for this video is to practice more difficult hand gestures while I'm studying them, and it's easy. So when I do illustrations in my sketchbook or even on actual paintings, I know more what I'm doing with the hands because I can see them. One problem with using your hand as a reference photo and not just having reference photos of Pinterest or something is that you can only ever draw your non-dominant hand, which for me is the left hand, so I can only ever draw my left hand. So if I want to draw my right hand, I kind of have to flip it somehow, and it's a little bit more complicated. So there's that, but I'm going to ignore that problem, and I'm going to do that. Obviously all of these sketches are very simplified. I'm just breaking them down into shapes. So basically it's a bit like a squarble or something. It's a really strange looking pentagon, I guess, or like a rhombus, kind of. Not really a rhombus, sorry. My math brain has disappeared. It's after 3 o'clock. I no longer need to use maths, except for I kind of do need to use maths right now. The shapes and stuff, but my brain's not working, so we're going to pretend I know the name of this shape. It's the palm. And then I kind of break down like where the thumb is and the sections of the fingers, and sometimes I draw the lines in. I do add wrists to most of these, and I even so basically with eyeliner I draw this little thing on my wrist sometimes when I'm bored, and I even drew that in a little bit further up than it actually is. On my actual arm it's kind of closer to my elbow than it is in this drawing, but it's there. Very realistic. No, it's not. They're very cartoony drawings, and I don't actually know what to say about them. I did sometimes draw in the nails and stuff to make it more interesting, and yeah, the layout of this video is very similar to every video I make of this type. All the drawing things I'm bad at videos, they're all in the same kind of style. I draw something a lot, and then I do an illustration on it at the end. And basically I decided this setup when I did my first one, which was shoes or feet, which I think I might remake because I still struggle with feet a bit. And I just basically do it a lot, and then I do an illustration with it, it's great for me because I get practice and stuff. And I also hope that these videos can help other people who struggle with the same things, because I know I'm not the only person who struggles drawing hands. I surely can't be the only person who finds it like the most difficult thing ever. Like, it's surely other people, so maybe this helps. You can like break it down, like look at it and like break it down into the separate shapes. With my illustration, I decided to do something slightly different this time, so I really get the hang of the hand thing as well. So there's that. It's slightly different, but I really enjoyed doing this. I really love how these pages look at the end. Like, it's just like lots of rather okay sketches of one thing, and I think they look great. I was wondering about this point how much space I had and if I should put another one or should I just leave it out. I eventually went with this one last hand and no more. That's enough hands for this. I was also wondering if I should do 2 pages of hands and then do that. But I felt like I had drawn all the hand positions I could think of. So I decided against it, I think. I might have decided for it. I have my sketchbook. Wait a minute. Right. I decided to draw one more hand actually. A very simple, smaller one. So, yeah. Another thing is, I never know what to do with characters' hands when I am drawing illustrations. Like, how do you position them? No idea. So this was my very simple sketch. I basically did the same thing as I did in my other page, where I just sketched out the hand, and I also had like a little hole, and I had an idea for things that were going to come out of that hand, because I felt like just like a hand was like a quite boring thing, especially in my cartoony style. So basically, there's a hand, and then there's a tree, and then there's sky around the tree. It sounds like so excited. It's not that an exciting idea, but it was fun to do, and it helped me practice. I also like this position. It's like, no one actually does this in real life. It's here. I feel like one thing I could have done more is shading in more of the hand with the watercolor. Maybe do a better job of doing wrinkles and stuff, because definitely when you do that with your hand, you get a lot of wrinkles in the middle. I think this would maybe have worked a tiny bit better if it was acrylic, for the tree especially. I think I could have worked on that a bit more. And apart from that, I think it's actually quite nice. So yeah. Oh, another thing I do need to work on is my skin colors and stuff. This one looks a bit greyish, sort of. I think it needed a little bit more of a pink tone to it. It also is rather one colour, and especially my hand, which is the one that I'm modelling off, and you can see in the video, it's not one colour. My hands are very red. And then there's also the veins that you can see. You can't see them, especially when it's warm. Yeah, so generally people's hands I don't think are one colour, they're generally more than one colour. But apart from that, I also need to work on my trees. I've been doing a lot of tree illustrations recently, and I've learned a little bit. Like, my trees look a tiny bit better. They now look like middle of primary school again trees instead of like nursery trees. They're still not great. I still probably could work on them a bit, but maybe I should do the next video for drawing things I'm bad at this series. I should do trees because I struggle so much doing them. The thing is, you can't really sketch a tree. I mean, you can, but not my thing to sketch. I think the problem here is that I try to make everything like calculated and it's like too pristinely perfect. Like, I think the tree limbs need to like bend a bit more and sway a bit so it looks more natural. So I need to like worry less about straight lines and stuff and have them like bend in awkward places. I think that would help a lot. And with hand positions, what I really should do is try and every time I'm just like relaxing, try and catch my hand movements, what I'm doing with my hands at certain points, just so I can see what I am doing. I think that would help a lot. I then moved on to the sky. Here was my idea. So my idea was that instead of leaves, this tree would have like clouds growing out of it and then the skies in the background. But because I'm using watercolor, the tree trunk is darker, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to make the clouds with watercolor. This is reasoning why I think acrylic would have been better for this specific illustration. So I tried to do it, and it didn't quite work out because wrong medium, as I said. I think I need to, I knew acrylic would probably have been better before I chose watercolor, but I decided to try watercolor anyway, just because I feel more comfortable working in it. And I definitely regret that decision. I think acrylic definitely would have been better, but I still like how the illustration came out. It didn't come out how I wanted it to, but it still came out okay. I think the clouds, I still struggle a bit with clouds. They're so fluffy, you need to blend so perfectly that I struggle a little bit. And also, I hate filling in big areas because I always use tiny brushes to fill in the huge areas and it doesn't work. But I still enjoyed this illustration and I still liked what I did. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye!